Hey everybody, so today we'll be making connections amongst text, also building connections with ourselves or with the real world. So our goal for today is finding connections across text and in real life. And we'll be doing that by coming up with big ideas or themes and then kind of building that connection with other books and our own experiences. So finding themes across text, what I want to just talk to you about here is we've learned throughout our unit to think hard about the people, the places, and events in the stories that we read, but also about building ideas. So I want to teach you today that when you've developed some thinking about a big idea in one story, sometimes that thinking helps you find similar ideas in another way. So as we're reading, we're always kind of like, oh, that made me think of this, or oh my gosh, that reminds me of another character. This is where you can build connections between two texts or connection with real life and even within yourself. So finding themes across text, I just wanted to show you this here because sometimes you're thinking of an idea and you can start pushing yourself to connect it to another book. And an easy way to do this is maybe start making a list of some general ideas you found as we were reading some of our read alouds. Then you can start thinking to yourself, can I connect this idea to another text? And maybe can I make a personal connection? And once you get to that step, you can start pushing your thinking by finding examples from the stories. So making connections. So making connections, when we're reading, we are actually making connections naturally without even realizing it. We're always building connections and we can make different types of connections. So you might remember some of these. So we have text to self, so it reminds you of something that you did. Text to text, it reminds you of another book. Or text to world, and it reminds you of something in the world, maybe an experience, maybe something that you saw when you were out with your family. So these different connections can help build and make more sense to the literature that we're reading, the books that we're reading. So thinking about what we will be doing today is we'll be naming a big idea. We will be naming the book you can find or books that you can find this big idea, and then how we can build on our connections. So to get started, I want to show you this example here. So the first thing I kind of do is just organize my thinking, and I just went ahead and named a big idea. And it's something that I've learned from a text. And I wrote, it is important to trust your friends. So I started thinking, is there a book or books that show this big idea? And right away I thought of The Tiger Rising or Fox. So I thought maybe I can talk about both of them. And then I'm going to look here and start thinking about text to text, text to self, or text to world. And then I'll show you my sample response here. So again, this work is just going ahead and pushing your thinking about building connections and see how everything can really all blend together and help increase your comprehension and understanding of the story. So I started off here with my big idea that you see here in bold. It is important to trust your friends. I can connect this big idea to the text, The Tiger Rising, because in school I was shy and didn't like to let my feelings out until one day I made a really good friend. As I became closer with my friend, she helped me open my own suitcase, which is a detail from, or an example from The Tiger Rising, and start being more outgoing and brave when making decisions in life. Although this story also reminds me of another book, Fox. It connects to Fox because there were characters who had to build their trust among each other, and they ended up becoming great friends who were always there for each other. And then I can just continue by providing examples in the text. For example, in the text it says, or an example of this is. So I just want you to notice here how I started with my big idea. I build a text to text connection. I build a text to self connection. You don't have to do all three, but wherever you find a connection, it's good to just explain it. You don't want to just say, oh, I connect to this big idea because I just do. You don't want to say anything like that. You know what I always say. Push your thinking by explaining. You can make a statement, but then explain why. Tell me more. So for today's work, in today's lesson, you can choose a read aloud from the unit and write a quick and to the point big idea, just like I did with it's important to trust your friends. So you'll be doing that same work. And then as you're writing, you can think about how this big idea can connect with other books or even to real life. So you can think about these stories here and then start thinking about the connections that you want to make.